Useful like a ping-pong ball in a bowling alley. It was the sound of footsteps that finally moved me, and the newsboy was back.
Well, how you again, mister? Did you ever get a hold of Madame Jeanette before she left?
Yeah, but not tight enough. Say, a blue coupe left here a few minutes ago. Did you see it?
Nope, I didn't. Gee, I'm sure sorry she went away. She gave me a buck tonight, too. Said she was coming into a fortune.
Hey, you and your career Say, what's that down there, in those weeds?
I don't know. It looks like some kind of a shoe. Yeah, it is a shoe. Here, see?
What do you know? A Persian slipper. I took the slipper along as a souvenir for my scrapbook and walked back to my car, trying to fit Norma Delaney's lovely hazel eyes in with that crack on the skull. But I couldn't. Between throbs of my headache, I figured Pierre Gillum would know why Norma had dropped in on the madam so close to train time. I decided to go back and ask him. Gillum was as reliable as a two-headed quarter and just as tricky. So when I got to his apartment, I pushed the buzzer, stepped back, and braced myself. There was no fight left in him. He opened the door in his robe, fingered the mouse I had given him, and grinned.
Oh. So you found your way out by yourself.
Uh-huh. Say, Gillum, what was so important about Norma seeing Madame Jeanette just before her train left?
I don't know.
You knew enough to try to keep me here, to delay me. Why?
Oh, Marlowe, I did that for old time's sake, for an old friend. Jeanette asked me to hold you here until midnight, and I tried my best. Obviously wasn't good enough. Well, that's all I know about it.
I see your phone is off the hook. Do you know that?
Yeah, I took it off. It's given me nothing but trouble tonight. I hereby wash my hands of this whole business. I'm going to bed. And I hope to sleep. Good night.
I envied him and left to call my client, Carl Delaney. He said he'd be in all night, but the phone kept ringing and ringing, and no one answered. I suddenly got a very creepy feeling. And 20 minutes later, I pulled to a stop at that small but elegant house. The lights were on, and I saw the powder blue coupe in the garage next to Carl's big black sedan. I ran up the steps. The front door was ajar, so I went in. I found Carl Delaney in front of the fireplace, face down on the floor, dead. There was a handbag on a chair. I opened it. Compact, cigarettes, and a key to room 340 in the Bradford Arms Hotel. No identification. That color portrait of Norma was standing up on the table this time, and those searching hazel eyes seemed to follow me all the way to the telephone.
Lieutenant Ibarra speaking.
Phil Marlowe, Ibarra. There's a dead one at 1077 Hollycrest Road, named Carl Delaney, murdered.
I'll be right out.
I hung up the phone, and then the hair on my neck crawled as I heard the unmistakable sound of a woman's heels on the floor upstairs. I ducked behind a door as the heels clicked down the steps. And then she entered the room. Norma Delaney was lovely. As lovely as a picture. She moved calmly and deliberately, put a note on the table, picked up the handbag, and then turned to face the door I was hiding behind.
You can come out now, Mr. Marlowe.
Hello, Mrs. Delaney.
You can call me Norma now. And if you're thinking of using your gun, perhaps you'll be good enough to read this note first. Here.
To whom it may concern. I, Norma Delaney, purposely and with premeditation, shot and killed my husband, Carl. It is beyond me to express how deeply I hated him, and since I must pay for this and cannot endure a public spectacle, I shall take my own life within the next few minutes. Now, look, Norma, no guns.
Easy, Marlowe. I'll kill you if necessary. But it would be so pointless now. I'm free at last, and I want to spend the little time left to me in my own way.
Norma, if you'll listen to me
Stay
just
back.
a minute.
Tonight I made my only friend, Madame Jeanette, happy. And I killed a man who needed killing. Something good, something bad. So I'm quitting, even up.
What do you propose to do with me?
You mustn't try to stop me, Marlowe. See that closet?
Mm-hmm.
Get inside. And careful how you move your hands. Turn around to the wall. That's it. Marlo, I'm sorry I had to hit you at Jeanette's tonight. Goodbye.
It took 3 shots to smash the lock on that closet door. I heard her driving away just as I got it open. In spite of what she'd said, I couldn't let her kill herself. I ran outside to my car. One glance under the hood was all it took. There was nothing left of the wiring but loose ends. I ran into the street and a miracle happened. The first time in my life a taxi in Los Angeles when I wanted it.
I'm sorry, fella. I'm gonna call.
Skip it. This is an emergency.
Hey, wait a minute. You
Police
can't...
business. A girl is driving up the road in a blue coupe. We gotta catch her before she kills herself. Let's go.
I think I saw taillights just then.
Yeah? Can't you go any faster?
Not on these curves, brother. I got a wife and kids.
Okay, fella. We'll be at the top of the hill when we can get around the next bend. We should spot her then.
Yeah, you can see the whole road down the other side. Here we are, mister. This is the top.
But I don't see her. Where is she? Hey, wait a minute. Stop here. Turn off your motor. This is haywire.
I don't get it. We were gaining on her, and now she just disappears. Hey, what's that?
The motor. That side road we passed. That's it.
Hey, look. Look! Holy smoke.
We both saw the awful sight for just an instant. A powder blue coupe with a woman crouched over the wheel. It shot out of that side road, crashed through the guardrail, and fell end over end down into the gorge. By the time we got to the hole in the fence, the wreck was an inferno.
No use trying to get down there. The whole hillside will be on fire in another minute.
I guess she pulled over here into this side road and waited for us to go by. And we did.
Yeah, it's sandy here, too. It's a wonder she didn't get stuck. What's the matter?
There's something buried here in the sand. One of her tires ran over it.
What is it?
Why, it's plenty, brother. Come on, turn that hack of yours around. Let's get off this mountain. I just found the answer to a lot of questions.
That you, Marlowe?
Yeah, Lieutenant.
We found the body and the wife's suicide note. And one of the boys spotted that fire up on the hill. What is it?
Car went off the road.
An accident? Or the suicide?
Just a little of both, Ibarra, but we'll talk later. Right now, we got to go to the Bradford Arms Hotel on the double. And please, no siren. The Bradford Arms was a 3-story walk-up. When we got there, Ibarra stationed one man in front, sent another to cover the back, and we started up the stairs. We had reached the second floor when we saw him on the landing above. Gillum. He spotted us at the same time and turned back fast.
There, Marlowe. Who's that?
That's our boy, Ibarra. Pierre Gillum, let's go.
There he goes. He's heading for the fire escape.
Take him, Lieutenant. He's all yours. I got business the other way.
Hey, you! Stop or I shoot!
Room 336, 38, 340. It's all over now. You better drop the gun. Please, it's been neat so far. Don't mess it up. Come on, beautiful. Drop it. It's better.
Well, Marlowe, I got him. I had to wing him to bring him down, but here he is. And the lady must be...
Yes, Lieutenant. The lady is Norma Delaney. The girl who wanted to kill her jealous husband and then commit suicide, but didn't want to die doing it. So she used someone else's body, Madame Jeanette's, which was a logical choice because Jeanette was blackmailing her. Thus, 2 vultures with 1 stone, leaving 2 lovebirds free to fly away together. Right, Norma? Didn't you give Madame Jeanette money so she'd leave town and tell everybody she was going away?
Yes, I did.
That way the body wouldn't be missed, huh?
Yeah. Isn't it pretty?
Oh, lay off, Marlowe, can't you?
Okay, Gillum, okay. Well, Ibarra, I've got a sour taste in my mouth. I think I'll go home and goggle. Anything else you need?
No, I guess not, Phil. I've had all that's necessary. Wait. Just one thing. How'd you get inside this setup? How do you find out it was the dead Madame Jeanette who went over the cliff instead of the very much alive Mrs. Delaney here?
Well, Jeanette had on a pair of Persian slippers, Lieutenant. One fell off down at her cottage where Norma murdered her and put her in the trunk of the car. The other one fell off in the sand of that side road when she took Jeanette out of the trunk and propped her up behind the wheel. It was lucky, Burra. Just dumb luck. I took a walk later. A long walk. All by myself. Through that thin, empty fog in the dark, empty streets. A pair of hazel eyes and a pair of Persian slippers went round and round in my head. And for some reason, I kept thinking, a pair of Persian slippers has two soles and two heels. And it's hard to tell just exactly where the one becomes the other.
The Adventures of Philip Marlowe, created by Raymond Chandler, stars Gerald Moore and is produced and directed by Norman MacDonald. In tonight's story, The Persian Slippers, Virginia Gregg was heard as Madame Jeanette, with Larry Dobkin as Pierre Gillum and Louis Van Rooten as Carl Delaney. The additional players were Gene Bates as Norma Delaney, Gil Stratton Jr. as the newsboy, Frank Richards as the barkeep, and Tony Barrett as Pinky. Detective Lieutenant Ibarra was played by Jeff Corey. The special music was conceived and conducted by Ivan Ditmars. Be sure to be with us again next week at this same time when Philip Marlowe says...
Sounded good, real good. A weekend at Malibu, expenses paid with a cash bonus thrown in. But that was before I knew about the henchman, the redhead, and the corpse. These three and a white Panama hat ruined it all for me.
The big star-studded array of CBS Sunday shows starts tonight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top entertainment programs that make listening to your CBS station a happy habit. 1, Cabin B-13, the popular dramatic show by John Dixon Carr, renowned mystery writer. 2, the new Electric Theater, guest starring Henry Fonda tonight, and regularly starring Helen Hayes, First Lady of the Theater, when she returns from London. 3, Our Miss Brooks, the hilarious comedy success starring Eve Arden. 4, Lum and Abner, a brand new half-hour show of smiles and chuckles with the merchants of Pine Ridge. 5, Strike It Rich, the sensational quiz show with a heart to wind up the sparkling parade of entertainment. Mystery, drama, comedy, excitement tonight over most of these CBS stations. And next Sunday, the first broadcast in the new season for two of radio's greatest stars, Amos.
Oh my God, like no way. Good morning. How are you? Just working on a cereal bar here. Anything new and exciting out in the world? Anybody? Anybody? Okay, I'll go first. I didn't do anything yesterday. Not a damn thing. Well, I worked on t-shirt graphics after 4 hours up till 1:30 the night before. Last night I didn't do that. Last night I was in bed at 8 o'clock reading. I had the book put down by 9. The girls were home. I'm like, okay, girls are home. I'm going to sleep. I was out. Of course, I woke up 2 or 3 times to take a leak, which cut into my REM, so I didn't get much dream time. Good morning, Throwback Thursday.
Did he say throw up Thursday? Go ahead, go on, go throw up.
Yep, that's what I said. Oh my God, don't do that. It's too early to do that. Hey, honey, he's doing his fake throwing up again.
Leave him alone, Harry. He's having fun. Something you don't know how to do, Harry.
I'm warning ya.
What are you gonna do, huh?
Totally. I uploaded radio shows for next week. All 12 shows. And I put together the educational films for this week. I got some doozies. Oh, that is hot. Sweet and hot. Sound effects. There's no sound going on. That's all done by my Foley artist over here. Right? The one who does the coffee stirring in the morning. Yeah. Them damn Foley artists. So I got the thumbs up on my graphics that I finished yesterday, or the day before. I sent them in, got the thumbs up. I got a message that they wanted me to take some of my other graphics and turn them black so that they can make the screen. The program reads it easier if it's in black, and then it can produce the screen. So it's like a 3D printer thing, I guess, or something similar. Indeed. I'm gonna have to check it out. When I go over there, I'm gonna have to get a tour and get to see the machines in operation. Because I at some point I want to have hands-on making some T-shirts. So not only will I be able to say, hey, I came up with this idea, I designed the T-shirts, I actually picked out the shirts and printed some. I printed that. You got one that I printed. Look, see that little flaw right there? That's one that I did.
Yeah, that's it.
So it is 5 in the morning. I have been awake since well before 4 a.m. on the Pacific Coast here. Because, like I said, I got to bed early last night. I didn't get to sleep real early. I think I was still awake at 10. But, I did get enough sleep last night that I'm feeling a little weird. You know, too much oxygen, man. It's like too much sleep. Makes me cuckoo in the cabeza. So, I've been up forever. I've been dealing with pain. This latest stuff I got is not too shabby. It's not too shabby. I find myself not smoking. That's when I know it's really good, when I'm not smoking it. If I can go like a long time without smoking anything, then I know it's good stuff. It's dealing with my pain, dealing with my brain issues, and all of that. All that entails, right?
Did you say he's got a tail?
Yeah. You know, but back in the 90s, the late 90s, I was a house painter in Mammoth, and so I was starting to go bald, right? My hairline was pretty far back. I had just a little bit of a widow's peak. So I had this widow's peak here, and these long bald spots on the side, and this bald spot right back here. And I'm painting houses, and I'm noticing that I spend so much time after work scrubbing paint out of my hair, right? No matter what I do, no matter how I cover myself when I'm spraying or working out of a bucket, I always wind up with chunks of paint in my fucking hair. And it was like, you know what, I can't deal with this anymore. And I just went down to the barber, and I said, shave it all off. And I said, no, wait, don't shave it all off. Leave a tail. And she's like, what? I said, leave a tail. You know, like those monks that have that tail out the back of their bald head, right? I said, give me one of those. And she's just, I don't know what you're talking about. So I left. I went home, and I shaved my own head. And I made a little, you take the top of a Coke bottle, a little 16-ounce Coke bottle, right? You cut the top off where the screw lid is. You take the screw lid off. You pull hair through that, right? And then you just shave around it. So that's how at one point, I was just holding my tail with my hand and bumping the electric razor up against my hand. And that worked great for me. I did that for a couple of years. Shaved my head every day. And I had this tail that was about, I don't know, this big around at the back of my head. And it was one solid braid that was braided into a hair tie. A hair tie is when you take floss and you braid it into the hair, and then you weave this floss around, you tie it around the braid of hair, and then you add things to it, beads and bells and bobbins and little trinkets and little cool little things. So I did that, and I went with the tail for a few years. And then one day I just chopped it off. I just got tired of dealing with it. So I just took the clippers and went bzzz, and just clipped the whole tail off and threw it in a box. I don't remember where that box went.
Downsizing. That happens sometimes. Hey, where'd that go?
It's gone. It's just gone. So yeah, so that was back in the, I think I started doing the tail in like 96, I'm going to say, because I was just going to the Renaissance Fair at that point. It was after Jerry Garcia died. I was living full-time in Mammoth. Yeah, and I just decided to shave that fucking thing off and go with the tail for a while. And then I was living in Carlsbad, living and working in Carlsbad, when I just decided to shave it off. And then I had a bald head for a long time. I think up until we moved into northern Nevada. And then I just gave up. I gave up the whole shaving the head thing. Actually, no. I kept the bald head thing all the way up into, wow, 2016 or 17, I think, is when I stopped shaving my head, because I was going to school. I remember I was going to school and I had a bald head. Yeah, well, that's some heavy stuff, man. It's amazing what you can remember when you try. Ah, jeez. Yeah. Anyways. I worked on this graphic yesterday, and I've decided to just go ahead and start making all of my graphics perfect from now on. That's it. Everything I'm doing, I'm just going to do it perfect, right? And then I'll give them 2 copies. I'll give them the copy that it should look like, and then I'll get them the copy for the screen printer to make the screen, right? So I'll give them the white copy and a black copy. And then when it's a color ink, I'll get with them and say, okay, here's about what I want. Let's mix up some inks and find our color and that chemical recipe, right? And so that's what I'm thinking, because there's this next one coming up, and one of the graphics is just going to be white, and it is going to be another, what do you call it? Kind of a natural old school color, like the brown for the Catfish Corner one that I'm doing. That one there is a really neat design. Nothing too crazy. It's just a cute little shirt. The one that I finished the graphics for the night before, that one is a vintage reproduction. I'm working on another vintage reproduction. It's really tough, but I was going to take the graphic, the original graphic, blow it up, and then just trace it digitally, right? I decided not to do that. I decided to take the vintage shirt, put it up on one screen, and then on another program completely rebuild the entire shirt, line by line, pixel by pixel, creating each image that has to go on the shirt so that it looks like the old shirt, but it's not. It's new. It's different. It's a little bit different. The font's a little bit different. The lines are a little bit heavier or lighter. The image that's actually on the shirt, I had to recreate that image. That was fun. And I'm not one for digitally drawing with a mouse, but I was able to use shapes and lines and the eraser and fill and do all this weird stuff. And it came out pretty damn good. So I am going to be taking that. I need to get some ink for my printer. I think that's on my shopping list when I get my external hard drive. I gotta get a case of black ink, right? Important. Yeah. Today is Thursday, which means the weekend is rapidly approaching. I'm going to be sending out follow-up emails, or texts rather, to people who I have invited to donate early and get some t-shirts and get a t-shirt deal, right? I actually sent out texts to people. Said, look, you get your 2 shirts, you get them now, you get them for $50 for 2 shirts. Free shipping, and here's the kicker. Later on, I'll throw in a 3rd shirt when more designs are available, right? So for a $50 donation, you get 3 shirts, free shipping. What a deal. So I invited 10 people, I think. Yeah, I invited 10 people, and one of the people invited 2 others. So I wound up with 12 donors. 4 of those are actual donors, and I've got 8 left who are still just pledges. So I need to hit them up and say thank you folks for your donation. Shirts are inevitable, right? They are coming next week. I've finished the designs. Fucking bada bing bang boom, we're ready to go. So, yeah. I'm excited about that. So I'll need to send out some follow-up messages and say, hey, I could really use that money. If you're still interested, if you can afford it. If you can't, then I'll take your name off the list and I'll save your shirts. You can get them later. But for now, if you can afford it, I really need to get these shirts produced. Once I get these 50 shirts produced, get the 24 shirts out, right? 12 times 2 shirts. Get them out to the 12 people. And that's going to pay for most of the 2 designs. I've got 13 shirts after that. So I'm going to be looking to get rid of another 13 shirts times 2 for a $50 donation. You get 2 shirts. I'm going to be charging shipping and handling on the next 12 shirts that I'm selling. Giving away for donations, not selling. If I was selling the stuff, this money would be going in my pocket, and I'd have all kinds of cool stuff. But I'm not. So it actually goes into a cigar box. If you look up here on the shelf, but by Starcrawler, there's a cigar box there. In that cigar box is an envelope, and inside that envelope right now there's $150 from 2 donors. So I will be putting that $150 with whatever money comes in over the weekend and taking it down to them Monday and say, when are we printing? Let's print today. I'll set up with them a day to go in, and I will either be there to help them print all 50 shirts, or at the very least, I will come in at some point during the printing and have hands-on printing some of the shirts. Now, the other day I went by there, and they had already made the label that gets put inside the back of the shirt, right? And I got to hold it in my hand and set it in a shirt and look at it. And I'm like, you guys are so awesome. I literally almost started crying, right? My wife was with me, so I had to tough it up. If she wasn't there, I'd have been, oh. But, she'd have been like, oh, stop crying, you big baby. So I didn't cry. But I decided to put a special label in the shirt so that if you see somebody wearing one of these shirts, you can go, hey, all right, let me see your label. Is it real? It's the label in the shirt is kind of a thank you, all right? Inside the label, what does it say? What the hell does that label say? Let me grab this label real quick so I can bring it up and read it. Here it is. Okay, so it's my Elsinore Brothers studio logo. And then beneath that it says Elsinore Brothers and Sisters Reunion 2025. Official donor, limited edition wear. Huh? Fancy frickin' pants. It's great stuff. It's beautiful. It's good. It's good. Yeah. So I'm pleased as punch. They used exactly my graphic that I created to create that label. They just literally printed out exactly what I made. In fact, the graphics on the shirts are going to be something that I pulled out of my frickin' brain and gouged the hell out of the computer trying to find the elements to create these shirts. Yeah. It's freaking awesome. It's awesome sauce. Anyway, I can get rid of that. I just get tired of listening to my own voice in my head. Like it's always there, so I don't need it like amplified. Right? Oh my God. My Beatles Abbey Road shirt. It's got the official Beatles label in there. Most of my shirts have official labels, which is why I'm like, how come I can't have one? They're like, we can do that. I'm like, no, get out of here. Yeah, sure, easy. No, it's multicolors, so we won't be screen printing it. We'll be making an iron-on, and we'll just be putting it in there. And so they print out little iron-ons on a big sheet. The girl was in there cutting them up, you know, into little squares. I was like, oh, wow. Totally took me back. Totally took me back to my factory days, production, warehousing, materials handling, using that big giant cutters and those big machines and forklifts and oh. I got carried away. So my daughter has been a little under the weather. She was sick last week. A couple of days, had a fever. Was fluish, I guess. Every fall, get back to school at some point in the first month or two of fall, you get sick. So she handled it well. She stayed in bed for a few days, you know, just watching movies and playing video games and relaxing. And then she got caught up on homework, and she's back to school, but she went the last 2 days of school. She's just gone down later so that she could just go to her classes and not be there the whole day with her friend. Because she'll go down like get there at 9, and her first class isn't until like 4 or something. So she literally spends the whole day. God bless her. She's a trooper. She spends the whole day down there for 2 classes in the evening, right? She does 2 classes and they come home. So last night she was going to get dropped off and then come home with her friend, and she decided, you know what, Mom, why don't you stay around and we'll go to the mall afterwards. So after class, they drove over to the mall. I sent them. I was here doing work, and I got finished. I was like, oh, shit. They're going to be at the mall by now. And I sent them a message to check on a book for me. And I was too late. So I'm actually going to check the local book stands, right? Did I take half of those? Yeah. Yeah, they got a little book stand at Vaughn Stater Brothers. I don't recall if they still have... Well, they have a book area. Maybe I'll check Walmart and see if they have the book I'm looking for there amongst all of their books. Rite Aid. I think they have a little book department. There's a few bookstores in town, but they're like used books. I might be able to find what I'm looking for. The book's a few years old, so it could be around. I literally could at this point, because it was, I think it was written a couple of years ago. I think I could actually get a used copy somewhere at this point, okay? If I could find it. Yeah, I either lose books or keep books forever. Right, a book will get lost in a move, or rarely will I give away or sell a book. I'll usually keep a book. Well, we've downsized a few times throughout our nearly 25-year marriage, and we have parted with a few books, grudgingly.
Oh, jeez, I just hate to give stuff up.
Well, you know, when you come from nothing, and everything that you have is always taken away from you, we don't have room for it, get rid of it. Or put in storage and then just forgotten about, and like, what didn't we have? No, it's gone. Well, where it was in storage? Well, it didn't. No, we didn't pay for it. So that happened a lot growing up. I think 3 or 4 times just in the 70s, we storaged stuff, and they just didn't pay. And the stuff got auctioned off, you know? And it's like, well, why are you Why would you do that? You know? Well, I don't know. I've put stuff in storage several times, being dirt poor, right? And have still made those fucking payments. And if not, get the shit out of the fucking storage before they come and lock it up. Right? I don't know how many times I've had to go through that. I've even had my storage locked up before because I didn't pay. And I was there the next fucking day like, no, you ain't taking my shit. Hell, what do you... Yeah. And then it was like, you know what, I'm not doing storage anymore. You know, we'll find a way to either downsize, which is what we did for decades, or find a safe, reliable place to put things with a friend, with a family member. Here's some safety, some stuff I need for, to keep safe for me, and yada yada yada. Yeah. Even then, sometimes you can't count on it. Somebody. That sucks, man. When you leave stuff with somebody and you come back and you go, hey, didn't I have a box of stuff with you? Oh yeah, we got rid of it. Oh, why? Well, because we didn't have room. We had to move. Yeah, we just got tired of looking at it. And you never came back. And we figured you weren't coming back for it. So. Really? Gosh, how nice. You were going to send me a message and say, hey, come get this stuff. You're just going to just get rid of it, right? Just throw it away. Or absorb it into your household and pretend you got rid of it, right? Like that thing sitting on the shelf over there. That's mine. No, it's not. Yeah. What are you going to do? You're gonna borio dorio do do borio dorio do do borio do borio dorio do do dorio do borio do borio do. It's gonna require some heat there in a minute. Okay, I am at the breaking point. I need to take a break. I need to take a break. Let's see. Is that... Yeah, that's that wood. Let me stick this receipt back here with the plans for that thing. There we go. Totally. Next to those hinges. All right. So, because my daughter has been under the weather and she's got other things going on catching up, I don't think she wants to take the time to leave town and go into San Bernardino to the main campus. She's got to be back here by 5 to do a class. She's been up all night doing homework, so she's going to sleep until noon. I think her meeting is probably around noon to 1:30 or something. So she's like, I'm just going to call and cancel. I said, can you do that? You didn't go to the last one. Do you need to go to it? I mean, what's the deal? So I told her, look, if you want to go, I'm ready. I'm ready. It's been on my calendar, so I've been getting geared up for it. It's not a surprise like your mom and my family's in town. What? So I'm ready. And I told her, hey, just let me know. All I got to do is get dressed, get cleaned up, and I'm ready to go, baby. Ooh, I dropped a few frames. What happened? I don't know. Something got weird. Something turns on or changes in my computer processor or something, and all of a sudden it just goes weird. So like yesterday, my sound sounded weird, like I was in some kind of weird echo chamber. It was weird. Boy. No word back on the house yet, which means I'll probably do follow-up texts and send another message to Susie. And then I'm probably gonna send a message to the rental guys and let them know what's going on. Say, hey, look, I'm just at the beginning of fundraising, but here are my plans. They're locals, right? Everybody that I'm dealing with are going to be more than likely going to be long-term locals, right? Which is cool because I've got long-term locals around there who can help, who are going to be in town all the time to help deal with a lot of back and forth, right? My settings here, they get a little weird, a little wonky. So I like to keep my eyes on them. Still 52 frames lost. 0.1%, right? Not much. But every day now, people from the past pop into my head. Places from the past pop into my head. Events. I'm always thinking about Lake Elsinore and the people and the town, and every time there's a change, convincing myself that it's fate. It's a change for the better. It's going to work out exactly the way it should work out. I just have to keep going forward in order to get to wherever forward is taking me, right? So that's what I'm doing. I'm just moving forward. And if I stay on point, stay on topic, then everything should work itself out. Just peachy keen. What is this? Legal noticement. Important notice of legal settlement. I did live in California and buy gas in California 2015-16. How would I be entitled to part of this settlement? Attorney General. All right. A lot of people are going to get these things and throw them away. I might as well investigate it and see if there's any money to be made in it. What the hell? What the hell? A couple of bucks. Probably ain't worth a piss anyway. Alright, I gotta heat this up, or I'll just get depressed drinking lukewarm coffee. Alright, your turn. Tell me a little bit about what's going on. So, I hung my new camera bracket on my cabinet back here and attached my camera and adjusted it to the max height setting because I made it so that it's adjustable, and aimed it, zoomed in, and it's perfect. If you can see, it's almost exactly where it was before, and it zooms in perfect. But not only that, I can take it and I can slide it down the cabinet to either end of this cabinet, or hang it anywhere on something that resembles my cabinet, right? And aim it at just about anything in my room here. I can hinge it up like this so the camera is pointing straight down. So I can have it pointing almost straight down, have it aimed down at a table below it, beneath it, right? I can put a chair under it and a table in front of it and sit below it with the camera aimed over my shoulder looking down at the table, right?
So many options.
So I'm going to be wiggling my room around here at some point, putting this control unit here, this box of computer YouTube stuff. I'll be wiggling it around, putting it more in the room here next to a table, a work table, and I'll have a slightly different setup in here for a while. Because this is on wheels, I can move it anywhere in the house. I can spin it around and put it in that room over there and totally free up this area so that you don't see this black thing here, right? This is my monitor is inside that. That's the top that opens up, and there's a monitor in there. So I'll probably wheel this thing around back here next to a chair with a table and a camera looking down, and not only can I have the camera there, but I can hang it up. I can clip it. I can just grab a clip and clip it to something, right? And just clip that little bracket that I made. So I'm in the business, and now I don't have to have a tripod on the floor anywhere. I've got 3 tripods sitting here on my floor now, so I need to put those in storage here until I'm like doing actual out of the house stuff. Which once in a while I'll take a tripod and one of these cameras and a couple of batteries and a memory cartridge, and I'll go somewhere and set up a camera and hit record. I'm not one of those cinematic guys who likes to take a camera and go, okay, no, wait, let me get over from this thing. Okay, no, okay, wait, I'm going to do this. Okay, no, wait, slow zoom in. I'm not, I set up a couple of static cameras, and then I might actually have a phone or a camera or something in my hand where I'll go in and get some close-ups or get stuff from different angles and stuff. But, I'm getting too old for this shit. It's just too much work, I would prefer that somebody bring me a bunch of footage and I can sit here and edit together something. That, to me, would be a lot easier. I could deal with that. It don't take much. Well, it does, but I can get more done here without going out. If I go out, I get a whole lot less done because going out takes the wind out of my sails. I have no wind beneath my wings. So, yeah. I really tried to get out there over the spring, the winter and spring. I really tried to get out, mix it up with people, go out and do stuff, be a regular guy going out all the time. I really tried. And it wore me down. It wore me down so quick. I'm just a sore nub. I'm just a red and swollen little nub. I'm a nub of a man. I'm just a nub. Don't rub the nub.
Ah, come on. It feels good.
All right, go ahead. Wrong nub.
Oh.
Yeah. So I've got to make a video time machine for tomorrow night. I still haven't made it yet. I'm hoping that I can just knock it out in a couple of hours, save it, upload it, get a good checks on it, and then be done with it. Save it over to this computer, get ready to air it tomorrow night. Nighttime Nonsense and Nostalgia, Morning Show, Elsinore Brothers and Sisters, Minecrafting. All these shows are going to take a hit because I got to go have a procedure done, and I'm not going to be able to talk for a while, which means, and I'm not even going to want to be on friggin' camera, right? Which means all of these shows are going to take a hit. The Nighttime Nonsense and Nostalgia show on Friday is going to go to an hour-long recorded program temporarily, I think. I think that's the best I can do. And I'll just do a hiatus version, okay. This show is on a hiatus, so we're just going to do this. This show is on a hiatus, so we're just going to do this, right? Morning show. I may do a morning show without talking. I may just come in and sit here and drink coffee and read, drink coffee and work, do other stuff, and just kind of have you here with me, right? Do a fishbowl, have this wide camera angle, and I'll just be in here working on stuff. Maybe I'll just sit in here at a table and work on 8-track tapes, and every once in a while write something down and hold it up to the screen and communicate that way. So I don't have to text. I can just Sharpie something, have a couple of notes that I can hold up all the time, So things are going to get a little weird. I'm here. I'm weird. Get used to it. All right. It's been almost an hour. I better go get a dog. Somebody's got to be ready to come out by now. Wait for that hit to process so that I don't stand up, get a head rush, and go, ooh, boof. Anybody? Anybody? Been there, done that. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm back, baby. So on this chair over here, I just set down a little TV, a little 13-inch color TV, a Zenith. It was sitting outside up the street on a bunch of chairs. I wish we had room for those chairs. Everybody is always decorating their vacation rentals and their Airbnbs with the latest stuff from Walmart and Wayfair and Amazon, and people are having all this new stuff delivered to these homes. And what they don't realize, or most of these people don't realize, is that most people going on vacation want some kind of an adventure away from Walmart, Wayfair, and Amazon stuff, right? They want to have an adventure. They want to have something new and different, which means a lot of times old is new and different to most of the current population on the planet, right? Old is old to us old folks, but it's new to all of these generations who don't know any of this old shit, right? All they know is Amazon and Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and all this crap. They don't know about 8-tracks and reel-to-reels and that kind of shit. So if you have a vacation rental that is devoted to the past, where you walk into a house and you're immersed in another world, right? A world maybe that you're somewhat familiar with because you were in that world when you were young, and now you're older and you want your children to experience some of that you experienced back then. And by going to a house that's filled with the past, you know, it's like going to your uncle's house. Yeah, let's go over to Uncle Dave's house because he's got all this cool stuff, and it's always cool to hang out with him because he always brings out these things that it's like, what the hell is that? Well, we used to use these all the time, and and they don't make them anymore because of course you got all this plastic shit. So, I'm totally hip at the idea of creating some kind of monument to the past by way of vacation rental, right? So that you don't just, it's not like it's like you go to one of those, like a Hard Rock, you go to a store, a general store, a restaurant, where they've got a few artifacts and some pictures and, a few throwback things, and maybe they wear a little funny garb and talk a little funny to kind of give you that. But it's still just a taste, right? You're going to pay your check and you're going to leave. Not much of that experience is going to go with you, except for maybe some pictures and a ticket, a receipt. So why not stay in a house that is like completely past oriented? It's everything there, right from the carpet to the lighting, the things hanging on the wall, right, to the front door, right? Everything just says the past, right? Yeah, so I'm gearing up, man. I'm gearing up to go back. And it'll be neat because it'll help me in a way get ready for the reunion thing, because that is a reach backward into the past. And by curating all of these items from the past, I'll know exactly what I'm going to take with us to the reunion for the drawings, for the giveaways, right? Books and posters and records and tapes and knickknacks and games and just whatever, whatever things I can collect. It's like, okay, for the room, I'm going to need a bookshelf, and on the bookshelf we're going to put this and this and this and this and this and this, and then here's the drawings to win this and this and this and this and this or this, right? You want to win this boom box and this box of cassettes? Fill in. You can enter 3 drawings. That's it. 3 drawings out of 24 different items or collections of items. You can enter 3, so that everybody has a chance to win something, right? Everybody. You got a chance to win 3 things or nothing. But you don't have to buy anything. All you got to do is sign here. Get your ticket. Make sure that when it's drawing time, you got your 3 tickets. We'll be giving away just T-shirts, We'll be selling T-shirts. We'll be selling all kinds of merchandise to get the, basically to get the yearbook printed, so that this isn't just this, but it's the before this, and then it's the week during this, the days before, it's the actual event this is happening, and then the days after, and then that whole week, and then for months afterwards, you're getting stuff in the mail, and you're getting messages and photos, and then you get this invitation to buy a yearbook, and then you buy a yearbook, and now look, you buy this yearbook and you get your shirt free, and now all of that money is now getting donated to the next year, right? Who's going to take this over for the next year? I can get it started this year. I'm hoping I'm going to be there this year, but somebody's got to take it over for next year. I can do all of the planning and the legwork so that when somebody takes this over, all they got to do is follow a set list of an agenda, follow an order. This is how you start to organize the party. I've already, what I'll probably do is that I'll probably create a lot of the elements for another reunion. I've got to create all of the shirts and merchandise for the 2025 reunion, but I'm going to then also start working on shirts and stuff to pay for the 2026 reunion, right? The yearbook, some more shirts. So all of that stuff will be in the works. So if I'm not around, somebody else can jump in and take it over, and it's like, okay, you're in charge now. Here's all this stuff. Call the shirt people. Tell them it's a go, on shirt design number 1 for 2026, and they'll have all the information already. They'll have my own file. This guy does a lot of shirts. And I'm hoping it'll become its own entity, that somebody will just have to step in and be ringleader every year, every season. Somebody will just step up, be ringleader, and gather people to help. All right, everybody, let's go. Get it done. A year goes by and everybody's partying. And then as the next year goes by, somebody else takes the helm and produces a show. And it'll have their slant on it, but it will pretty much be my formula. Right? Get a house, get some entertainment, get some food, invite a lot of people, raise a lot of money, and have a lot of fun. The rentals, the rentals, I think, if we can get to that point, pay for the house, pay for the entertainment, pay for the food, pay for everything we need for the event, and then have the money to pay for the rentals. That's going to be awesome. A weekend of boating and biking and hiking and touring and motorcycling, right? Makes me cry to think about it, man. Just makes me wanna boo-hoo, man. get some more hits on my music video. I'm really happy with that music video. So I'm hoping I get, well, okay. So yesterday it was 6 hits. Now I've got 24 hits, 24 views. Basically because I posted it, I shared it, and I tagged everybody I knew. And I tagged a bunch of people I don't know. I just like, I need more views. I need people to watch this. Because I want it to snowball. I want people to watch it. I want it to infect their brains. I want them to walk down the street singing it. Let's go to the movies. Let's go to a show. Right? So that's what I want. So that when I come back and I do a different version with a better video, yeah. And it's one of those songs that I would really like to be able to do live with a few people, with my friend David on bass, maybe Harmonica Joe taking the harmonica part. I'm thinking ukulele or banjo something, right? With that blank, 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 some kind of sound like that. And I want the musical instruments to come in gradually. I want to just start off with the guitar and the bass, and then another instrument come in, ukulele or banjo or something, and then do a little bit of thumping and strumming, and then of course the harmonica comes in for harmonica lead, and I think a harmonica backed up by a fiddle, a violin, would be really cool. And then all of the instruments kind of hang around and kind of dance together till the end, and then everybody just kind of wah. But yeah, I'd really like to be able to do a nice recording with some more instruments. That would be nice. One of my ultimate goals, of course, this whole depression and up and coming procedure and everything is really taking a toll on my depression. But one of my ultimate goals is to record all of my songs. I've got a notebook filled with music that I've written and a bunch of covers that I just love, right? So at some point, the goal is to get through with this whole dental procedure thing and get back to singing again and record a bunch of this stuff, right? I mean, had I not been so overwhelmed with darkness and despair in the last 6 months, I would have done it then. I would have just gotten it all, okay, this week I'm going to start working on this song, and I'm going to work on this song until it's ready to record, and then I'm going to get it recorded, right? And that's what I should have been doing, but, you know, you try to talk your depression into stuff, and you just get nowhere. You just get nowhere. So I didn't so much just go with the depression as I just sidetracked myself, right? It's like, okay, if I'm going to be like that and I'm not going to really be able to function normally, then I'll just find something that I can deal with to keep me afloat. And that's what's the summer programming on my channel has been all about, that, keeping afloat, keeping from sinking. And it worked, you know, and now I'm starting to feel that creative flux again, and I need to get rolling. So creatively, it means writing, building, singing, playing a musical instrument, playing a video game, reading. I mean, creativity for me comes in many different forms. By reading on a regular basis, it makes me want to write, because I'm reading things thinking, I can write this, I can write this way, I can write about my adventures in life and make them way more exciting than the stuff that I'm reading, right? The stuff that I'm reading is good stuff, but if it's not written to get under your skin, then you're just reading matter-of-fact stuff, which is the biographies that I'm reading. They're just matter-of-fact. They get under your skin, but they're just written by a regular person who's not a writer, right? And I don't fancy myself a writer, but I do enjoy putting words together. So reading really gets me pumped up to do some writing. And I think I may take a couple of months and sidetrack and just do a lot of tickety-tack, right? And how do I want to do it? I'm reading these biographies, and I'm like, if I just start, if I give some little bite of something that big that happened back in the 70s and 80s, right? And then go back and start working toward that, and then get to that, and then hump over that and deal with it, and then move on, and then kind of fade out and do a biography of my life the first 20 years, right? Because that takes me up into 1988, 68 to 88. That's a great 20 years to write about, because there's a lot of shit going on, not only in the world, but in my own world, my family life. So it's just a matter of coming up with some kind of direction, some kind of master plan. What do I want to write about? How do I want to start? How do I want it to, like the little documentary that I made, the little 15, 20-minute documentary, Hi, They Call Me Mike. That's kind of that would be a trailer for a book written about that period in my life. That would be the trailer. Because it gives you a lot of information about who I am and where I came from, but it's still just a peek, right? If you want to get into the real nitty-gritty and into the real me, it would have to be an in-depth book, right? And where would I start? Would I start with my earliest memories? Probably. The meat of the book would start with my earliest memories. Of course, the foreword of the book would be a chapter. I don't know. Maybe I would just dive into it, and write the whole thing, and then pick a piece to maybe move to the beginning and talk about a little bit, and then eventually get there in the book. Yeah. So there's that. Because I am cuckoo in the cabeza. And there's got to be reasons for it. And now looking back, maybe I should do a little bit of research and investigation. Because my biggest quandary is DNA, right? Actual connection. So I would probably want to get a DNA test done to find out the legitimacy of who I am first, and use that maybe as the forward, right? Maybe use the experience of doing the DNA test and the results and all of that comes about. There should be a taste of that at the beginning of the book, and then maybe build toward that, so that at the end of the book we get that whole experience kind of wrapped up. So there's that. I would really love to get that done, as well as record the music that's in my book. And there's a few more videos that I'd like to make. If I had a bucket list, those things would be on the bucket list. As well as, not just writing the book, but getting it printed and published, right? The full 9 yards. Get a hard book out there in the world. This is me. That's me. I'm gone, but the book is there. I'm gone, but there's videos, there's music, there's pieces of me left in the world somewhere. Somebody has some of my paintings. Somebody has my T-shirt on over here. Somebody's got a photograph of of he and I together at one point, you know. So I want things of me left in the world, little mini monuments, so to speak, right? Because I'm not I'm not one of those materialistic guys who has to go out and put a stamp on the world. You know, I'm not going to leave a giant fortune in my will or anything. But when I'm gone, I don't want to just be gone, right? You only last as long as you're remembered. And like I've said before, most people are forgotten within a couple of generations of having been. And that's just the way it is. Because there's nobody around who remembers those people. And there's nothing left for you to remember them with, right? So if I can leave, an example, these morning shows, if I can leave stuff behind for people so that they know the real me, you know, all of these other things that I leave just accentuate that. They're not a bunch of things where, like, there's this video of this guy and I can't find anything else but this video, right? It won't be like that. It'll be like, there's this video of this guy, and then I searched and I found all of this other shit. That's how it's going to be. He built like this pyramid of crap on video. It's like this, it's crazy. That's what I want it to be. Who is there? What? He's been gone how long? Shit, this is weird, man. I thought it was back in the 70s and 80s with all the crap he had around him. There's at the beginning of each chapter in this book that I'm reading, Lakota Woman, and it's a heavy book. I'm in a few chapters now. But at the beginning of each chapter, there's a poem or a saying or a song quote or, you know, part of a speech or something. And there was this minor 49er song at the beginning of this one. It was just a little short, you know, 8, 10, 12 lines or something. But one of the lines was, telephone ain't a ringing, right? And I'm thinking, wait a second. Somebody humped the bunk on this one, because there in 1849, there weren't telephones. We didn't even have a wire service at that point, right? 1849. If we did, that was it. It was just a wire. There was no telephone. Telephones didn't come along until the late 1800s, very late. I mean, Civil War was like, what, 1865, and there was no telephones then, you know. Yeah, freedom, slaves. It's just, no. So, yeah, sometimes you see people who are out in the world, or people are out in the world, and they experience time differently because they have no conception of history. They have no conception of chronologically where technology fits into time and space, right? So they're like, well, what were you watching? What were they watching, you know, on TV back during the Civil War? And you're like, what? Yeah, like, no. Well, there was still photographs. Yeah, at the late Civil War, at the end of the Civil War, there was photography. But at the beginning of the Civil War, everything was done with line drawings, engraved, and then stamp printed in the newspapers. It wasn't until the end of the Civil War that we actually finally had photographic newspapers, right? Photographs in a newspaper. Look, it's a photograph in the newspaper. Books with photographs in them. Photographs of the Civil War. Most of the Civil War was recorded through drawings, right? Paintings, sketches. And so there are a lot of people living now who don't have any sense of history and time and technology and a chronological order of things. They just don't. They ain't got a clue. They's clueless. Because we don't teach that. You know, we just don't to teach. There's nobody around to teach that stuff. If there's anybody around anymore, they're doing this, scrolling or swiping or something. Swiper, no swiping. Yeah. I'm telling you.
Gives me a headache to think of the state of the world.
It does. It really does. Let's see. Did somebody... Oh, somebody else watched my video. That's cool.
Howdy.
And then by every once in a while tagging everybody. It kind of gets them over to YouTube, or it brings them over to my Facebook. And then they notice there's a couple of other things, so then maybe they'll watch another video and go, hey, there's a lot of stuff to check out here. Because there is. There's not just me going in the morning, talking shit on the world and myself and my family and everybody. I mean, it's just, it's a horrible thing, but I gotta be real. I mean, if I'm not being real, then I'm just bullshit. And one of my things is no more bullshit, right? No more bullshit. Spread peace and love, but no more bullshit. I mean, I don't go after anybody individually. I don't have any hate or malice toward anybody, or especially people from my past, family, friends. I mean, we were all young and did things, that we don't, want to remember. And like I've said before, I got no hate or anything toward family, especially parents and whatnot. I wasn't them. I didn't make those decisions. I didn't have the life that they had, so I can't sit in judgment of how they did things. It is what it is. It was what it was. I mean, I can't change anything. All I can do is deal with how it affected me, right? And it affects everybody differently, their past. But you can't let it rule you, right? I let it guide me, but I don't let it rule me. And I don't hate anyone for anything from the past. Even the people who would think that, gosh, you must hate me. Nah. Because I feel the same way, right? You should hate me for what I said or did or thought back then. So, yeah. We all went through some shit. Brothers, sisters, friends, family, mother, parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents, everybody. We all went through shit, And once we realized that we all go through shit, we're all the same, I've had to make decisions before that were uncomfortable, How would my parents have made these decisions? Well, then I'm going to do it opposite. No, which is usually the case, but no. Yeah. Anyways, 6:11 in the a.m., October 10th. That's 10/10/2024. 10/10/2024. So 10/12/2024, it'll be 10/12. That means that twice that, it'll be 2024. 10/12/2024. Wow. 2 days. The doppelganger.
Shut up. Yeah.
Anyways, so I was saying. Well, good. I'm happy that more people have watched my goofy video, music video. That's nice. That's nice. And, you know, once in a while somebody will like it or comment, and that's nice too. That's really cool. Elsinore Brothers and Sisters Reunion Festival Weekend Promo number 1, 62 views. Alright. So, what's on my list? What's on my list? Bo-gist list. There we go. To-dos. Shirts and the show. So, if I can get down there early this week, Monday, and get for sure know that by Wednesday I'll have a shirt, and I will have mailed out shirts, then what I'll probably do is do a live show myself, and then get somebody on the hook for the next show. So I can bring somebody on the show the following week who's wearing a shirt, and then say, tag, you're it. And then I'll do 20 questions with them. We'll talk about the reunion, and then in a week or two, they'll come on the show via a call with a guest, via a video call, and then hopefully, and then do the 20 questions, talk about the reunion, and then hopefully that guest will then be the host on the next show. And we'll just do it on a Wednesday evening when most everybody's home and available, and we'll just say, look, just schedule it. All you got to do is one. Just schedule it. If you enjoy it and you have fun and you want to do another one, we'll do another one. But just schedule one and set up somebody. We'll set up somebody who you can have as a guest, but who's also going to volunteer to be the host for the next one, and so on and so forth. And we'll just leapfrog, and I'll host the show here and have the calls come in here, and I'll edit it out live from here. So it'll be a little weird, but I think it'll work. If people are at home with a good Wi-Fi signal, and it gets to me in good shape, it should go out from here live, looking really good, sounding really good. It's good. I've done some tests with my brother, right? And we've done it, and it's worked. So I can just do a video chat on this computer, bring it into this computer, use it to also run in my graphics. So I'll run in the start of the show, and then I'll go to fade over to the host, the guest host. They'll do their shtick. Then we'll bring on the next guest. They'll introduce them, talk to them for a minute, do the 20 questions, and then ask them to host the next time. And of course, it'll be worked out ahead of time, so they'll say, sure, I'll be here next time. I'll be your host. And then we just do it like that, right? And every time we get to somebody, that somebody's wearing a shirt, where they're wearing one of the shirts that are happening. And that's it. So if I can just get a shirt next week, early, if I can get shirts printed Monday and know that I'll have a shirt by Wednesday, just know that I'll have a shirt by Wednesday to wear, and that I'll be putting shirts in the mail that week as well. I think that's going to do it. And then I will host the show as long as I can, and then come back to hosting the show as soon as I can. And that's it. That's all I can do. So there's that. Shirts and show. House redecorate. Well, we got to work on that. Morning show elements. I need to get a table in here. I got my camera bracket up. I need to, well, it's easy. I'll just grab a webcam here USB cam, plug it into a USB port there, pull up the thing there, and now I've got an extra camera that I can manipulate and point and do stuff with, right? A wired webcam. So that'll work. And then I'll start working on, I'll just switch over to that once I deal with this dental procedure. I'll just switch over to the going voiceless, and I'll probably even just not have a microphone. I won't even have a microphone on, so that you don't hear me going and gumming and grunting and groaning and stuff. And then, like I said, I'll just hold up notes to the camera, talk to the camera that way. It'll probably be it'll be a better hit. It'll be a better show. Hey, did you ever see that? You ever see that show where that guy doesn't talk? He just sits there and builds stuff. He's got a mask on and he just sits there. You ever see him? He's a weird dude. So what am I going to do today? I've got to do a video time machine. Ed films. Upload. And I need to sand those boards. So if I can get those boards sanded, then the next step is to cut everything to size and then dry build it, and then build my individual components, the side rail, the C channels for the top and the bottom, and then the end cap, the cross members and the faux cross members. The faux cross members are just going to screw into the slats that are going this way. The end slats I'm going to have solid so that I can attach the cross member, full cross members. They will be screwed in really good on the ends and in the center so that it creates a stability. But ultimately the gate will be able to be pulled apart and boards can be replaced if they need to. And there'll be a little looseness in the top and bottom for expansion, for moisture and stuff, because we use swamp coolers out in the desert. So you have to plan for that humidity. So 3 things that I need to do today. And if we're not going to San Bernardino, then I need to try to get over and get that paperwork handed in and get that dealt with. So I'll just focus on the, this is my master to-do list. I'll just focus on these current items here on my Post-it. That'll keep me busy. I know, it's noisy, huh? Noisy. All right, getting excited again. Every morning. I think it's the coffee. It's the coffee and the weed gets me excited. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? I'm gonna torio. That's what I'm gonna do. Video time machine, educational films upload, and sand boards. So if I get done here and start uploading educational films, I can have the educational films uploaded within a couple of hours. Usually about 20 to 30 minutes each. And I've got 5 to upload, so there you go. Do that. Get some breakfast in me. And then sand those boards. Get that done. Video time machine I can do this evening after a nap. And just tie myself to the computer for a couple of hours. And basically it's picking out elements that add up to a half an hour in total. Sometimes I have to garner those elements out of other big elements, like go to an old black and white movie and pull out just the music video, the music portion, right? The little love song or whatever. Just pull that out, turn it into a music video, and then there's one of my elements. So actually I do need to do that. I've got a couple of little short musicals, little short musicals that I need to pull out, a 3 or 6 minute piece. And so I need a couple of those. I need a couple of songs. I like to do a song at the beginning and a song at the end. I like to do a cartoon in the middle. I like to do some kind of news or entertainment program, commercials, and I'm saving my Halloween stuff for Halloween night. Is Thursday night. So I may release a special live Halloween show and have the video time machine attached to that, because it'll be a Halloween version. But yeah, I've got plenty of Felix the Cat cartoons. I should have Felix the Cat cartoons to watch well into next year on the video time machine. Yeah, pretty cool. And then I'll just keep digging stuff up, every week I put one together. I try to dig up a few more items so that the following week I'm that much closer, So what I'll do is I'll go through, I'll see what I've got, I'll pull together stuff for an episode, and then I'll say, you know what, I need something for this. Like last week, I created a video, and I was halfway through saving it when it got to a point in the video on the screen, the save screen. And I'm like, I need this right after that. So I stopped the save, I halted it, deleted it, and went back and found the element that I needed, just a little 2-minute piece. It was actually less than 2 minutes. And so I just found it, stuck it in, had to adjust everything down the line so that nothing else was out of skew. And I was like, yeah, perfect. And then saved it, and then uploaded it and got the okay. And it's great when I make a video and I know that I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get a copyright hit somewhere, and I don't, right? That's not to say it's not going to come around later. Some of these might come around later and bite me in the ass. I'll probably do a lot of behind-the-scenes video stuff during my time off. Go to the copyright school, take a bunch of YouTube courses on how to do things, learn how to use all of my video editing stuff, sit here and eat a lot of pudding and drink a lot of Ensure, right? Yeah, my health is so bad, I'm contemplating not having the dental procedure done, knowing that when I do have the dental procedure done, it's going to adversely affect my health, right? And my health is already fucked up. So I'm like, what do I do? Suffer with bad teeth? Or get them yanked and risk drastic weight loss and health complications, right? So I've been trying to deal with the whole eating thing, and eating more and eating better and that kind of stuff, and eating a lot of protein to try to put on some weight, knowing full well that I'm going to lose it. So my weight fluctuates. I've got shirts like this one's a little snug, right? And this is just one of my regular large shirts. It's not a bigger large shirt. It's just a regular standard large shirt. So it's a little snug. There are some times when this one is really loose on me, and all of my smaller large shirts are really loose. I could wear one of my daughter's mediums, they're so loose. But I've been trying to pack on the protein. Let me check the dogs. belly's up and out. What about you, Bessie? You want to go outside? Want to go outside? You want to go outside? You want to go? Huh? No? Okay. You don't have to go if you don't want to go. You don't have to go. So I'm going to put this TV down here on the ground. And then I'll probably put it up here on this. Put that TV up on the dresser next to my VCR and DVD players and hook it up and see if it works. Right? I mean, if all you got to do is push on and volume and turn on a VCR and hit play, I mean, you don't really need anything else, right? I'm hoping it's a good TV and it works even though it doesn't have a remote. I think I've got a remote around here somewhere I can program for it. But yeah, that's neat. I hope it works. I'll get it over here and plug it in, check it out. If it looks like it works, then I'll take it and blow it out and wipe it down real good, clean it up, and then add it to the collection. We've got another TV outside that Bush brought me. I'll have to bring that one in as well. I've yet to find a cord for this DVD player. And what is it? Is it a DVD player VCR? No, get out here. Yeah, see, it is. I didn't realize it was a double. I didn't realize it was a DVD player / VCR combo, a recorder model. That's neat. I like that. So hopefully that one works as well. There's no. That one does have a remote, I believe. Yeah, that one's great. That one has a remote and the instruction book. So if I can get a cord for it, in fact, I think I've got one out in the garage. So if I get a permanent cord for it, that's going to be great. And let's hope it works good. Because if I can get these working models that are in excellent condition and get a nice box to put them in, that's a great gift for somebody, right? It's like, okay, here's a VCR DVD player that works really well. It's in great shape. The head's been cleaned on it. But not only that, here's a tube TV for it, and a collection of VHS tapes and DVDs for it, right? So you get this whole retro package, this whole vintage package. And the TV's not that old. The VCR DVD player's not that old, right? So it's not completely vintage, but it is a retro feel, right? So that's cool. Who wants to win that? It's one of those things that'll probably be set to give away. And as long as I raise the money to throw the party, I don't care if the party's a dud, right? Because first of all, I can throw a really righteous party for a handful of people. Everything will be paid for. And, you know, maybe the whole giveaway thing will or will not work, you know. A handful of people take home a bunch of really righteous stuff. That's great. Yeah, I mean, even if it's just a handful of people. At this point, it's the shirts. Hi, Ollie. At this point, it's just the shirts, the amount of shirts. I just need to get rid of a lot of shirts. The more shirts I get rid of is going to dictate the size of this thing, right? You buy a couple of shirts, you show up, you pay a $20 price to come spend the day doing all kinds of shit, right? The early birds get to sign up to do different things that'll be paid for already, right? Shit. Yeah, for me it's worth it just to see a handful of people from back in the old days. You know, a handful of veteran Elsinorians in one spot and a bunch of other new people, so to speak, right? Ha. Yeah. We just need a nice piece of property to do this on that has a great headquarter building with all of the stuff that we need to pull this off. That's it. Just the venue. That's the most important part at this point, the venue. After that, it becomes attendees. People who, then it's all about them. And after that, every penny that will be raised in donations will be exactly for that, for making the people who show up have a really good time. That's it. So entertainment and food and lots of activities. Lots of activities that have to do with the town, you know. An in-town bike tour, up in the hills motorbike tour, a hiking tour, light hiking, not backpacking, just kind of a day walk thing. A van tour, a foot tour. Boating. Jet skiing, water skiing, yeah, there's just so much fishing and hiking and biking, oh my. So people who haven't been back to Elsinore in 20 years or more, it's for them. The party is really for them. The reunion is for everybody. The gathering, the party is for those out-of-town people, and they will pretty much be VIPs and will have dibs on all pre-sign-ups. It's like, okay, we've got it figured out now that we've got X amount of spaces for like motorbike rentals or bicycle rentals, you know, and we're allowing the VIP early bird people who are out of town, who are flying in and renting big rooms and houses and stuff to do this, they're going to get the first crack at, do you want to sign up for these things? You know, because they'll more than likely be putting out the most money to be here, so we want to have the best return. And then there'll be a lot, a quantity of spaces that'll just be for the general. When you get there to the event, you know, sign up for something. And there'll be 6 spots. You sign up for 12. Some people are going to sign up for something and then not want to go or want to do something else. All right, next on the list is you. You want to go? That kind of a thing. Committees. I need to get people involved in committees. I think once shirts go out and people see the sincerity of this whole thing. Yeah. Oh, that's one thing I need to put on this list for today is follow-up text. For the donors. Okay, and try to get those pledges turned into donations by Saturday, Sunday. I can get to the bank, pull the money out, get down to them. Okay, the graphics on the, well, they're making the screens, so they're getting ready to roll. So, oh man, I can't wait. I can't freaking wait. So yeah, I'm hoping that early next week we get shirts, and by Wednesday I'll be wearing a shirt finished and dried, and host my first Elsinore Brothers and Sisters Live, and I'll just create some kind of monologue that explains what the event is, what my intentions for the event are, what the bottom line funds we need, and pretty much the outside that we're shooting for to take care of getting stuff started for the next year, right? Which means a photographer, and getting a publisher online, and doing all of this to get the yearbooks rolling, so that by the time we get to the event, we're ready to take photographs and do get things together for an actual physical hardcover yearbook, just like the yearbooks of old, and a video. We want to put together a video, and I might, if there's enough money in it, farm the video production out to somebody else and have it professionally done by someone affiliated with the event who could handle that better than me. Because at that point, I'm probably going to be taking myself out of a lot of stuff. Yeah. I just want to make it to the event. I just want to get there. That's my goal. It's my bucket list top item is to get to that event. Yeah, and then there's, hopefully my brother will be in town for more than just that week, and we can plan some things to do. I would love to do some Southern California tour, where my brother and I take off driving, and we drive around and check out a bunch of stuff, and then stay the night here, and then drive around and check out a bunch more stuff, and then stay the night here, and then drive around, check out a bunch more stuff, and come home, right? I would love to do that with my brother, do a little mini road trip, a little time travel, you know, that'd be fucking awesome. That'd be awesome. And go as far out as Parker Dam, right? Parker Dam to Santa Monica Pier, you know, and Griffith Park to fucking Tijuana, you know. I mean, that was pretty much it. That was the stomping grounds when we were young. That was our area that we roamed in. That motorhome was all over Southern California, literally all over Southern California. Highway 1, Highway 395, the 10, those were our stomping grounds, the 91, the 101. So to take a nice big loop out, you know, and go right over to Sierra Madre and Pasadena, and then into Hollywood, and then stay in that area overnight somewhere in Hollywood or Santa Monica or Malibu or something. Stay in there somewhere. And then the next day down the coast. You know, go down the coast. We wouldn't have to worry about Ortega Mountain or Lake Elsinore because we would be doing that during the reunion. That would be part of that, where we would have a day down there to drive out to either before the event or right after the event. Right before or right after. There's going to be an early bird agenda schedule where if you're in town on this day and you've got nothing planned, then we're doing this. As a group, we're all going, we're going to run out there, we're going to grab tickets, and we're going to go to Disneyland, you know, just on a whim. But we're going to have a couple of whims planned in where it's like, all right, look, who wants to go to the beach? We're going to jump over the Ortega Mountains, and we're going to go to, Dana Point or something, and we're going to park, and we're going to just go out on the beach. We're going to hang out on the beach for a couple of hours and just play around. So who wants to bring their shorts and towel, and we're going to the beach, just like we used to back then. Hey, let's go to the beach. And that was one of those things where everybody would just load into a car, and we would just drive over the mountain and go to the beach. So we're going to plan that. Or a bunch of the kids would decide, you know what, let's go to Disneyland, or let's go to Knott's Berry Farm. And it'll be just pick one. If it's this one, we got this deal worked out. We buy this many tickets and we're in. Well, if it's this one, then we got this worked out. We can go over here, we can do this. Let's vote. Who wants to go which way? All right, it's 50-50. We got 2 days. We're going to do both. Let's go do this day and this that day. Fuck it, right? Haha, I planned it that way. Yeah. So I'm getting a little worked up about that too. Early bird stuff, hangers-on stuff. Fun on a bun. I just hope I make it, right? I just hope I get there. It ain't looking good. If the pain in my gut is any indication, it's gonna suck. Uh-oh, stop. She doesn't have to wake up today. Don't. Stop it. Stop it. I mean it. Yeah. Oi. So, I think, like right before my procedure, I think I'm going to stop with the coffee. And I'm going to start getting into regularly eating specific items to keep me healthy. Eat some kind of oatmeal, cream of wheat type stuff, because you can like take almonds and walnuts and stuff and mash them up into little pieces, like you would put on like the top of a Danish or something, right? Crushed walnuts and crush that kind of stuff up and mix it into like oatmeal or cream of wheat or something and give you that little boost of protein, right? Like throw nuts into a blender and then add them into a spice mill, right? Grind them up real good and throw them into a shake, a protein shake. So that's always cool. And you get that little extra flavor. But I've got to work on some meals that I can deal with physically that are going to help me physically keep the weight on. I have a feeling I'm going to be eating a lot of soft cheeseburgers, soft tacos with meat that's been cooked really, really well, like sautéed, so that like it's soft. Like we make this meat that we put in just about everything, and it's just the base meat, and then it can be flavored differently for different items. But it basically it's chunked beef or pork, browned and then sautéed for like 3 hours, right? And then shredded up. And then after it shreds even, it's just so tender and juicy, it just falls apart. You barely have to work on it to chew it. So I'm going to be eating a lot of that type of stuff. Or stuff where I put a lot of meat in and cook it in a lot of broth and turn the meat into more of a stock, a broth, a puree. Eating a lot of beans, because beans are soft and there are a lot of protein in beans. And then you make that meat and then add it to like a pot of beans with different kinds of beans in it. And now you've got that double whammy of protein, plus it's the fiber in the beans and the softness and the easy digestibility of the meat. It's a win-win. So I'll probably be going there a lot. And I'm at this point, I'm like, I can't even look at food. If I have to get up and make myself something to eat, I'm going to take a couple of bites and be done with it. If somebody else makes the food and doesn't talk too much about it or make too much of a ruckus making it and then just brings it and hands it to me, I can usually get into it and eat it relatively quick before I decide, I can't eat any of this anymore. It just disgusts me. Food just disgusts me. Well, for all you doctors out there who are thinking, I know what's wrong with that guy. Well, good for you. You're a good diagnostician. Now, what are you going to prescribe to me, right? There's something about leaving this world, having been butchered and eviscerated, chopped into little bitty pieces, or leaving this world on so many fucking prescription pills that you don't even know who the fuck you are anymore, right? I would rather go out in a lot of fucking pain and knowing exactly who the fuck I am and what's wrong with me. You know, rather than have to go and deal with a bunch of, excuse me, but idiot fucking doctors who don't know what the fuck they're doing, who can't get past prescription writing to do their fucking job. And that nowadays, that's all it is. That's all it is. It's just all about prescriptions. Because that's what the insurance companies will allow. You have to do all these prescription medications first in order to get to any real treatment, because they're beholden through lobbyists to the pharmacies, the pharmaceutical companies. Everybody's beholden to each other to make money off of us, not to cure us. And that's where I draw the line. It's like, you know what, I'm not a pincushion. I'm not a lab rat, not a guinea pig. No, I'm not going to take shit for 2 years only to come back 2 years after that and there would be a class action lawsuit because it killed a bunch of people. And that's why I'm in the condition I'm in. Fuck that. Been there, done that. No, you go in there. I took so many different pills, and then years I was like, I can't take that shit anymore. It's garbage. And then I'm like, I'm glad I stopped taking that because there's now a class action lawsuit because of all of the people who kept taking the shit and fucking died, right? Oh, I mean, I took all kinds of Zoloft, right? I took fucking Zoloft. I took that over-the-counter medication for antacid that is killing people off left and right now. All the shit that gives you cancer or makes you depressed worse if you don't take it, right? Don't stop taking it because you'll fucking go suicidal. Well, great. Now you tell me. Yeah, aside from work, physical labor, and then a poor diet, poor eating habits, depression is probably the main thing that has kept me physically fucked up, right? When you're depressed, you don't want to do anything. So therefore, you don't get any exercise. You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to brush your teeth. You don't want to brush your hair. You don't want to do anything. All you want to do is just roll over and say, fuck it. Right? Not good. So depression has probably taken its toll on my physical being here the most. And that's fucked up, because there's no turning back. It's like you get to a point to where you're beyond fixing a lot of these things. Because you didn't care about living, you didn't care if you were dying, you just didn't care. So you reach that point to where if you do start to care, there's too late, because there's nothing left physically for you to care about. And how do you fix it? Even with a lot of money, right? Even if I won the lottery and was an instant overnight billionaire, even then, what doctors out there could actually help, and how much money would it cost, right? I mean, I would probably go to 3 doctors and get the from each one at this point. Ain't nothing we can do for you, son. We can make you comfortable. And I don't want to fucking be comfortable, Sick of fucking being comfortable. It's okay. I want to live, damn it. I mean, I'm not talking about living forever. I'm just talking about living while you're alive. I want to live. I want to do things. And I just don't have the physical wherewithal to get up and go do anything anymore. I'd literally have to take a break like 3 or 4 times in an hour when I'm doing something. The only thing I don't have to take a break doing is sitting here, other than get up, do a trip to the bathroom or get something to eat or more coffee or a dog or something. I'm pretty much just here. Getting up and down is my exercise. But if I'm working on something, I can sit here all day and keep going, like the Energizer fucking bunny. Which I think ultimately, this is all, once I think when I come back from my hiatus, I think this is going to go to, I'm going to have this room set up in here for a 24-hour live, right? I'm just going to go 24-hour live. Have, in some way, somehow, set it up so that I have a live webcam aimed in this whole room, a better picture than this, right? And if you're in this room, you're live. And I'm just going to do it like that. It's like, okay, a sign right here that says on air. If you go in this room, realize that you are on camera and check the microphone to see if it's on or off, right? And more than likely, it will be an off microphone camera, no microphone on. The microphone will only be on when I'm sitting at the actual thing doing a live on another feed. So there'll be 2 feeds. There'll be one live feed that's just one camera, static camera, no sound. And then another live feed when I come on and do my live streaming shows. And I think I might do that and experiment with that for a while. And do, you know what has always fascinated me has been the idea of living in a glass box. I see that all the time, where you can rent an apartment, you rent a glass box apartment and in like a mall or something, and you are the entertainment for people to watch. And when you go into the bathroom that's glass, as soon as you close the door, the glass fogs instantly. Some electrostatic mechanism instantly makes the glass fog. So while you're in there doing your deeds, nobody can see you, right? They have public bathrooms that are like that. So that has always fascinated me, living where everybody is observing everything that you do, right? Right back to that Twilight Zone where that guy says that he'll stop talking for a year and he'll get $1 million from this rich guy. But the only thing is that he's got to stay in this little glass room inside of his house, in his mansion, right? Locked in there under constant observation to see if he utters a word, right? Of course, the guy had his vocal cords cut so that he could win the $1 million, never be able to speak again, but he would win the bet. Of course, and then of course the guy who bet him the $1 million was a broke motherfucker and didn't have any money and was hoping that this guy was going to lose. So there you go, Twilight Zone. But living in a glass fishbowl, a box, right, where everything that you do is observed by whoever happens to be there. There is a a website that you can go to, reallifecam.com. Okay, and I will type it in here. reallifecam.com. All right. So if you go there, you can log in. Well, you don't have to log in. You can just observe several cameras for free. I don't subscribe or pay a subscription or anything. Every once in a while, I shoot over there and I pull up a camera where there's actually somebody in the house in that camera view, like usually in the kitchen or the living room watching TV or on their computer or on their phone or something, or they're in the kitchen with a couple of friends making food. And I'll pop it up, put it on the big screen, and then I'll go to do something else. And then I'll just kind of have these people in the room next to me. It's like they're in the room next to me. And I can hear what they're saying, I can see what they're doing, a little laughter, a little this, you can hear the TV in the background. And it's kind of weird, kind of voyeuristic, right? So I thought, well, why not do kind of an experiment like that, right? At first I thought of doing like a telethon, and I'll probably do a telethon for this reunion to try to raise more money and more interest at some point. But I thought, why not do just a live fishbowl cam 24/7 that's in here all the time, so that when I'm not on my show, you can still see what's going on, right? Ha-ha, aha. So it's going to be when I get a Chromebook, because I'll set up a Chromebook for live with one little webcam set up in a central location, so that you look down into this room, probably from up on high, looking down into the room, so you're kind of looking over this, kind of, because this will be here and it'll be wherever I'm put it for whatever show I'm doing. But I'll have the camera kind of up and looking into this room, one static picture with no sound, and I'll put that on a Chromebook and have it on live all the time. Just like that. And then just have this room set up as my constant live companion, really, right? There'll always be messages to check, text to check. It'll always be on. There'll always be something going on. Hey, man, in the middle of the night, I saw a rat run across your shelf there. Yeah, so it'll be all kinds of weird shit. He was there for an hour and a half just sitting there cleaning himself. It was weird, man. It was weird. I didn't know if it was real. Is that your pet? That's my pet, Emery. So, totally. I keep looking down at these comments that I make here on the thing, thinking, hey, it's somebody. Oh, wait, that's me. All right, I'm heating up the coffee again. Can you dig it, baby? Can you dig it? right here. You want to go outside? Do you? Do you? Come on. Want to go outside? Come on, somebody must be along. Boy. Okay, all right. Bessie's out. Sam decided to go out. I'm going to use up a huge portion of my hard drive when I download all of these live shows. What I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to bring them in, and I'm going to have to compress them into a zip file or something, and then bury them away, right? And try to save space that way, right? Because that's all I can think of. If I save them as files, maybe I can get away with saving them just as a file on a disk and just burn a bunch of disks on a file, or thumb drives or something. It's important for me to have the whole catalog of everything that I've done, whether it's an educational film that I've, found and then cleaned up and uploaded, or a live show or a video that I've created entirely. I want it all, and I want it all to be cataloged, not just on YouTube, but at home here as well. I've begun burning the files for the educational films onto disc, onto DVD, as files to be used as like a thumb drive, so I can put it in my player and copy that file or play that file from the disc, but copy it and then use it on the computer. And then I can just delete those, but those are just the raw files, the raw educational films, before I edit them and put them onto YouTube. And then they become a huge, they go from megabytes to gigabytes. So the gigabytes is what I'm having trouble with. All of the stuff that I've created, that I've taken a little bit of kilobits and megabits and stuff and cobbled them together and created and edited and processed and saved a video that becomes, gigabytes. And then where do I put all of these 10s and 20s and 50s and 60, hundreds of gigabytes of stuff? Because I'm sure I can look onto YouTube somewhere and see how many gigabytes of information I've loaded up onto my channel, because I'm at 754 videos uploaded to my channel. That includes live videos and original content, not just all of the hundreds of radio shows and educational films and stuff. That's a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm at what, 100 and something here. 119 shows in the morning this season, plus like 36 second season, 32 the first season. So I'm just about to 200 episodes of morning shows. Hi, Sam. That's a lot of live stuff. I did like 50 or 60 nighttime nonsense and nostalgia shows. That's a lot of stuff. I'd like to get all of those onto onto some kind of disc somewhere. Get a case or a shelf or something with all of my stuff cataloged into it and curated and packed away and labeled what everything is. So once again, when I ain't around, somebody has access to this stuff and knows exactly where stuff is. What I would really like is for somebody, my daughter or some family member or anybody later down the road, to come along and take all of this information that I've cobbled together about me and my life and my experiences, as meager and as childish as a lot of it is, and curate that collection into something, a documentary, an AI, put all of this into an AI and create this guy as an AI. That would be weird. That would be fun. Give you kibble later. If you have to eat, there's some in the other bowl, but I know you won't. Yeah, so life in a fishbowl. That's one of those experiments that I would love to do. I mean, because all of this YouTube stuff, there's a few things that I've been doing that have been for me, right? But a lot of this is all experimentational, right? It's like, what can I do? What can I get away with? What can I create? How long will it last? How popular will it be, right? So if I just do one live cam that's on all the time, 24/7, and figure out a way to save, right? Like every 12 hours come in and start a new feed, or come in and hit save or something, however it works. Run it through a friggin' 80 terabit freaking hard drive DVR. I don't know. Figure out a way to not only to let it go out live, but to save the information, the data, the footage somehow. I don't know. That's the quandary. Because what's the good of doing it if it can't be pulled up later and gone through and itemized and cataloged and graphed and charted? I don't know. What is it? What does it become then? Is it still art? Is it still a project? Is it still an experiment? I do not know. I do not have the answer at this time. But it intrigues me, the whole idea. You know, will he or will he not scratch his ass live on camera? Will he pick his nose and go, oh shit, you know, I've got my finger deep up my nose. Ah, geez. No, I don't know. That's why I would literally have to have flashing lights and reminders to say, hey dummy, you're live, remember you're live, right? These cameras have screens on them, but unless I'm looking at the screen, it's not a conscious thing that I'm on one of these cameras. I am on 4 screens here at any given time. With this one monitor here has me on 4 screens alone, plus other screens with other stuff going on. And then I've got my live computer here. I've got my phone as a monitor showing me what's happening live, right? Plus I've got other screens here with me. So, and still yet, I completely forget that I'm on camera sometime, and I will be sitting here playing a video game or deep in thought on a computer, and then I'll be talking to myself, and I'll be like, oh shit, I'm on camera. And when I don't have headphones on, reminding me that my voice is going out live. I have no monitor here with my voice coming out, just a little thing, a little level, bopping up and down. If I'm not conscious of any of this, I just forget. I completely forget. And I think that's going to be one of those live things that's going to be hard to deal with, but it's going to be part of the allure of the show.
That crazy guy, he did that live thing again. He scratched his, he yanked on his underwear. He trimmed his toenails. I mean, I don't know.
But once again, reality TV, unscripted, unedited, live reality TV. What's he watching? You can't see any of the stuff that I'm watching, right? So you have to imagine what I'm watching. You know, a comment pops up. What are you watching? I don't even have to comment here. I can just write it down on something and do that, or text it into the comments, right? Or just turn the monitor toward the camera real quick so you can see it. Quick flash. As long as it's not a football game or a baseball game or a basketball game. Am I allowed to even say NFL without getting taken off the air? I guess we'll find out, right? Because they don't mean shit to me. But apparently they mean a lot to themselves and a lot of other people. So I think they're mean more to themselves than they mean to us. Most of the stuff is politicians and those types of people. They mean more to themselves at some point than they do to the general public. I mean, it's all mostly about their egos, right? I mean, look at the news right now. I mean, it's all about ego. Everything out there right now is all about ego and money. Ego and money. Ego money. Ego money. Did he say eagle money? Yeah. Don't get me started. So let's see. 7:15 in the AM, October 10th, 2024. We're fastly approaching holiday season here, Southern California. We might get snow this year. I'm hoping we get snow. Maybe we'll get a white Christmas out here in the desert. It happens. It happens all the time out here still. You get up in the morning and you look out and it's just white everywhere, all the way around. Every place you look, it's white. Not just the tips, but white all the way into town. White. You look outside and the dogs are looking down at the ground going,
Hey, this is fucking cold, man. Who did this? Who allows this?
yeah, so fingers crossed we get a semi-wet, semi-cold, snowy winter at some point. It usually happens late in the season, or some places, you know, October, they're just dumping snow and weather and stuff. Here, lately, it's been later in the year. Sometimes we don't even get snow until February, and then it's just crazy, right? I mean, that time that Southern California, all of Southern California got blanketed, like 2013 or 2015 or something. That was crazy, you know, and it lasted days and days. Yeah, that was, I'd love for something like that to happen again. That'd be totally cool. during that time when everybody was told to stay in place and stay at home for 6 weeks or something, or a month, 2 weeks. We stayed at home for 6 weeks. We just said, fuck it. We just stopped doing everything for 6 weeks. Daughter was homeschooling at the time because of it. So she just went right onto the computer and started going to school there. And all of the vacation rentals shut down. So we weren't going to be able to go out and work anyway. So it was like, all right, well, look, we got food and supplies that could last us 2 months. Let's just stay at home for 6 weeks. You know, we'll go out on occasion and grab a few essentials, but that's it. We don't need anything else, and we did that. But like during that time period when the skies got ultra blue, right, and the air was ultra fresh and smelled great, and you could see for miles and miles and miles, right? I want that back. But, you know, we'd really have to to have that back kind of permanently, we'd have to off two-thirds of the world's population. Right. We could do that just by stopping childbirth for 5 years, right? We could drastically decrease the human population on this planet and not affect the human race at all. We would become healthier and happier if we just waited. We want to have a baby. All right, we'll wait 5 years and then have your baby. Okay. While you're waiting, they've got some great birthing classes. They've got some great classes that train you how to be a parent and how to emotionally handle the depression that comes along with these new challenges and stuff. People should be trained, really. They should have skills before they become a parent. I know. I wish I had some kind of parenting schooling, right? Some kind of class that everybody attends, and that's what allows you to have a kid. The fact that you've done all of this, you're happy, you're healthy, you've planned for your pregnancy, you've gone through all of the classes learning how to deal with raising children correctly and not screwing them in the head, you know. And then you get to have a couple of kids. And I mean get to, because we're all here together, and at this time the population is so high that, yeah, you having one kid more than two affects everybody. If you and your spouse or significant other have 2 kids between the two of you, that's a 1-for-1 situation, man. Population cannot go wrong that way. That's it. Because we're still increasing, right? Those two are, within 20 years, are going to go out and they're going to have another replacement, and then they're going to be around for so long. We'll be able to live longer. We'll have fewer people to deal with, fewer resources being used up to deal with these people, fewer health issues. Of course, we'll have fewer consumers and fewer constituents, which is why they don't do any of this shit. Sickens me. The people who are in charge are just out to fill their fucking pockets, and nobody sees it. Nobody sees it. And if they do, they don't want to see it. They look the other way. I don't want to see it, I don't want to see it, I don't want to see it. I'll just, you know, get my Amazon order and go about my life and go to my shitty slave job. That's it. Because it's easier than standing up and saying, you know what, enough's enough. No. I'm not buying your garbage anymore. Put out products that we want. No. Give me my money back, and I'm not buying your garbage anymore. Period. Telling everybody out there about your garbage. Start making American-made products that last more than 2 years. That's it. The stuff behind me, the stuff in this room is 40, 50 years old. Why? Because it was made back when America gave a shit about the products and not about filling up landfills and filling their pockets and having us go through consumable products that used to be long-lasting technology. Now, a television is a consumable product because it only lasts a couple of years. A car is a consumable product because it only lasts a few years, and then it's garbage. If it winds up in the landfill before you're dead, it's a consumable fucking product, right? I've got stuff that I've inherited that's older than me. that I am now the steward of, because it's going to last longer than me. And I'm going to pass it on to somebody else who's going to then take care of it, and it's going to last, right? That's a non-consumable product, something that can be repaired rather than replaced with newfangled bullshit. Because the newfangled bullshit just winds up in the landfill within a couple of years. No matter what it is, 18 months. It's going to last 18 months. It might last 6 years at the outside. But now we're talking like a car, and that's it. If you're able to sell a used car at 6 years, 6 years old, and get more than a couple of bucks for it, well, wow, you never drove it. It sat in a garage. And you're still only going to get a fraction of what you paid for it new. Even if you bought it 6 months ago and it sat in the garage the whole time, you're still going to get a fraction, half, less than half of what you paid for it. Even though it's got 3 miles on it and it sat in a garage. It still ain't worth crap. Because it's a disposable, consumable product. I'm here to tell you, don't shoot the messenger. So we buy used cars that we know have been proven reliable. Yeah, they're all going to have issues, but you try to get the best you can get for your money, knowing full well that as soon as it's driven off the lot, it's worth half as much, right? And as soon as it gets to a certain mileage, it's worth like a minuscule amount of what was paid for it. So don't pay any more for that. Pay good for maintenance. That's what you want to pay for. You want to pay for somebody who's done the maintenance on a vehicle. Then that bumps the price up. No maintenance, it's worth a couple $1,000. That's it. Show me the maintenance records on it that shows that it's been well taken care of. It's got no accidents, all that. Otherwise, it's only worth a couple grand. That's it, max. And that's all we're going to pay for it. But you can get one of those that's only a few years old and drive it for, 8 to 10 years if you take good care of it. And if it was well taken care of. Anyway, I hate picking out cars. The last car we bought, we got from somebody we knew, and they could have gotten twice what they gave it to us for. And it was a hell of a deal. And I said, you know what, I'm going to say yes, because my wife is looking for a car, and this is a great deal, and you're reliable, and you do maintenance, so it's a win-win. The price, the condition, the records, anytime there's something goes on, we just ask you, has this ever happened to you? And then boom, we've got a little information. We know where they took it to get the oil changes, where they took it to get repaired. And so that's really cool. That's having a lot of records. And the next vehicle we get, I will not be involved. And in fact, I probably won't even be around. My van, I picked out my van. And every car that I pick out winds up to be a dog, just a lemon. So I'm done. I would love to get this van fixed up and use it before I'm gone, right? That's it. I may design a few T-shirts to help me do that. Design like 5 T-shirts and take donations for T-shirts so that I could fix my van. And every week give an update. All right, I've got X amount of dollars donated, and I'm putting this money into this now. Now we're working on this part of the van, and just get that. Okay, now the van is done. It's up and ready. I'm taking the excess money left, and I'm taking a test road trip. And do like that, and make it a part of the channel, make it a part of my experience. My experience here on planet fucking Earth. Anyway, God, it's almost 7:30. Gosh, in the AM. Good morning, good morning. The coffee is cooling down, and I'm heating up. I got 4 things on my list to do this morning. And then I have to make a decision. Am I going out into the world to do something? I don't know. Anyway, for anybody joining us, reallife.cam or reallifecam.com which is in the comments, is a live camera voyeuristic thing where you can catch people eating breakfast, making dinner, hanging out, throwing a party, sitting on the couch watching TV, surfing on the phone, playing with their dog on the floor. There's no kids involved. These are all adults, and sometimes there's adult situations, and then they'll scamper off to a room where you can pay extra to get onto one of those special cameras. I don't. Every once in a while, I put it on, watch some people watching TV while I'm watching TV, and then I'll be like, hey, you got. Oh wait, they're not real. They're not really here. But I was talking about voyeurism earlier, and being in a fish bowl, a fish tank, putting up one live camera that's on all the time, and just letting it show what's going on in this room, and then just have this room alive set all the time for a couple of months and see what happens, see what kind of response I get from it, because I see a lot of that out there, but it's usually a bar or a bridge or a beach or a club or a street or something, right? It's nobody's like living room, live from my living room 24/7. Now that seems like a weird experiment, right? Since this whole thing is experimentational, I figured I would give that a whirl. So probably no sound. The only sound you'll hear is when I get on to do my shows live, right? And that'll be the only time. Otherwise, the fish tank camera, the fishbowl camera, will just be a static camera that shows the whole room in its entirety from wall to wall, floor to ceiling, so that when I'm in here doing stuff, anybody who's in here doing stuff will be on camera, right? And that's that. I'll have it up high enough so that people can walk in front of it and it won't really affect the camera. You might see some top of somebody's head or shoulder or something go by, right? Because I thought about pointing one outside and just pointing one from here out east to the college, where they've got these great copper roofs, where when the sun comes up, it makes a great picture as the sun starts to shine on these copper roofs. And then all day long, as the sun changes, different angles of this copper roof shine up, right? You'll be driving by it, and you'll look over, and it'll just be this kind of red-brown copper, and then all of a sudden, it turns bright, shiny gold. This side of the roof is brown, and then all of a sudden the sun hits this side, and it's bright, shiny gold, sparkly, blinds you, right? And so I thought about doing a camera like that. It's kind of boring. And then I saw those cameras of people's clubs, nightclubs and bars and stuff. And it's nighttime, daytime. You know, the cameras are always on, and there's like sometimes, most of the time, there's nothing going on. Sometimes there'll be a live band on the stage that the camera's pointed at, but most of the time there isn't. When there's a band on stage, they usually will turn on the microphone, but most of the time the microphone is off and there's no sound. So would I want sound? Maybe I wouldn't want to have wouldn't want to have a microphone at all. So I don't run the risk of accidentally leaving it on. It just never has sound. One camera never has sound. It's always off. Mute. Mute, 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 mute. One angle. You know, maybe it'll be my morning show angle from a long time ago, where it just aims at this corner here, so that anybody else in the room is never on camera unless they walk into that corner, right? It's kind of dull. I would really prefer the fish tank. The only bummer is it limits people's use to this room unless they want to be on camera. And also, I have this during the first season and the second season, I had this board on a hinge, and I would swing it over in front of the camera, and it was my door. It was my window shutter, right? And on the front of that shutter, I had a little printout of my morning show graphic. And so I would start the show off with that shutter closed. And then I would open it up for the show, so that if I left my camera on accidentally, every time I would open the show, I would open the shutter. When I would close the show, I would close the shutter. I think what would be neat would be to just have a graphic of the room, the view, that gets popped up onto the screen when I'm in the room here with somebody else and I want privacy. My wife and I are going to sit here for a couple hours and watch a movie. I pop up a graphic of this room with empty chairs, or me sitting here drinking a cup of coffee, like for an hour and a half, a loop of me drinking coffee, right? And be able to put that on the screen so that I remain live, only I'm not really live. Or have two cameras. One camera that I can do this and still remain live, and then one camera where I can come back here and you just see whatever I'm doing in the room, sitting here watching TV, working on the computer, lifting weights with my penis. I mean, whatever I sitting here fucking doing, and just try not to, pick my nose or scratch my ass or touch my penis, whatever. God, he worked it twice. He said penis. Oh shit, he said it another time. It was a different voice. It doesn't count. Yeah. Oh, Thursday, trash man. 'Cause it's the trash man. Whoa, it's the trash man. Okay. So I'm done with this. In half an hour-ish, I'll start uploading some YouTube videos, get some kind of breakfast going. I might feel like actually making a breakfast today. I don't know what. Potatoes? Potatoes and eggs, bacon? I don't know. So I'll put something together, and then I'm going to go out and sand those fucking boards. Sand those boards. At some point this evening, send those follow-up texts to my pledgers, and do my video time machine. I get that video time machine done tonight. Probably stay up late doing it. Get it uploaded so that has its checks, and I know if I have to edit it. I'll probably put in a little bit of October, right? But I'm going to save the meat and potatoes of October stuff for Halloween night, and I think I'll do a special airing of the video time machine live. I may do an actual Halloween show. Am I going to dress up in costume? I don't know. I may have a Halloween decoration in here, right? I might. I almost picked up a jack-o'-lantern bucket for trick-or-treaters. I almost picked up one. It was like $2, and I was like $1.89 or something. I'm like, for $2 or a little bit more, I could come up with something better. I'd like to get a skull that I can put. You see that rabbit in the corner right here? Anybody notice that little bunny rabbit in the corner yet? Okay, that is sitting on top of a DVD player there in my corner that just happens to be on camera. Because if I zoom in a little bit more, it goes off camera. But if it's zoomed in right where I like it, you see it just a part of my screen box here for the top of my video unit. and you see just the corner of a DVD on a DVD player over there. So I thought, all right, I'm going to put a rabbit there and see if anybody notices it, right? So what I probably will do for Halloween and every holiday after this year, because this is the year, I will try to put some kind of element for October, right? And that's not really an October element. I need to dig up my gargoyle, right? I need to find, if I still have it, if it's not broken, I need to dig up my gargoyle. It's like missing an ear, missing a toe, and the legs were snapped off once and glued back on. But it's this little gargoyle shelf thing that I got. I think I got it at Disneyland back in the 90s, right? And it was like at one of those little shops somewhere in Disneyland, in the park. But it was just this cool little gray stone gargoyle that you would see sitting on top of a building. So I set it here and there on occasion. I don't know where the hell it is right now. For the life of me, I keep thinking that I'll turn around and it's sitting there looking down at me. So I'll have to see if I can dig that up. But I want to put in some holiday elements into the shows, right? Now, any show that I do is usually this camera angle from this spot, because this is my studio. This is my spot, my microphone, the marquee on the back of my laptop here that's got a bunch of crap on it, right? So this is me. This is my set. But if I can add a little something to it every season, I'm going to put a little Christmas tree here after Thanksgiving. It's going to be a little lighted Christmas tree that's going to sparkle. It's one of two that I got from a lady, a waitress that I worked with back in 2002 or 2003, right? Back when I first went to college at San Jacinto. I was working up in Idlewild and in Anza at a restaurant in Anza, and there was this waitress there, Vera, and she created, out of safety pins and beads, she created these Christmas trees with lights stuffed up inside of them so that you could turn them on and they'd blink, right? So I bought like 2 of them. I was like, wow, I think I bought 3 and gave 1 away. So I bought these things, and I still have the 2 of them. I think one of them needs new lights, but one of them is clear with some little bright colors speckled on it, and one is green with some white colors speckled on it, I believe, if I remember correctly. So they're out in my storage. I'm going to bring those in November, clean them up, get them working. What am I going to do for November decorations? What I need is a little cornucopia. I need to make a little cornucopia, and it needs to be set on where that rabbit is on a little corner. It doesn't even have to be life size. It can be miniature. If I can find a little cornucopia, right, with some gourds and squash and pumpkin and pine cones and wreaths and little things. Yeah, something like that I think would be November-ish, something fall. I have yet to find something that represents Halloween. I don't know why I put that rabbit up there, other than it just looks good because it's bright white. Let me look in my box over here. See if I can come up with I don't know, a skeleton or something. Something that says Halloween. Alright, well, I'll go ahead and just pull this drawer out. And then I can kind of look through this drawer. So what says Halloween that's in this drawer? All right, so I've got a bunch of matches. I can look through my matchbooks and see if I have a matchbook that says Halloween. I don't have anything that says, like, Knott's Scary Farm. I do have... hey, Dan, if you're out there watching, I've got a matchbook out here from the Main Street Tobacco Shop in Disneyland. It's an original matchbook with the original cover. It has all of the matches in it. It has never been used. And if I can ever see you, I'd like to give you this, because this is cool. I also have a, if you look up here on that, no, not there. There you go, up on that shelf next to Red Cloud and that 16 millimeter camera there is a small film of Mickey Mouse. It's a little couple of minutes long. It's just a Mickey Mouse silent movie. That's one of those things that I want to give to Dan too. Oh look, here's the enamel pins that my daughter bought at ELO concert. Here is Motion City soundtrack ticket when we got upgraded to a closer seat on the balcony. 3 of the buttons from the 1975 concert. Nothing really that says Halloween yet. I've got the Apollo 11 moon landing matchbook covers. No matches inside because they couldn't be mailed with matches inside. So they're all folded, laid out straight and flat and wrapped in plastic and nice and safe. At some point, I was going to find replacement matches and stapler and staple these things back together and put them back in their original form. Oh, here we go. Here's something that's neat. I've got these tickets here to the Raiders, the Los Angeles Raiders versus the Los Angeles Rams. Tickets. I've got 2, 3, 4 tickets. Games 7, 8, 9, and 10 of 1982. That's pretty cool. These are those things that I am going to put in the room at the reunion. I'm going to have one room set up in the reunion that is going to be a recreation of a 1980s bedroom, right? And I think that's going to be one of the best things about that reunion house is doing one room, decorating it floor to ceiling, wall to wall, in 1980s, 70s and 80s stuff. And then everything in there will be given away in drawings, right? And I think these tickets here, Denver Broncos, LA Rams, Seattle Seahawks, and San Diego Chargers at the Raiders Memorial Coliseum, right? Different seats, different sections, but reserved. November 22nd, December 5th, December 18th, December 26th. Wow. There you go. So those are something that has nothing to do with Halloween, but they're in my box here, my drawer. Stick them back in here. Oh, look at that! One of my father's business cards from back in the 1970s. He made this business card. He probably cut them out himself. He probably printed them and cut them out himself. Street Media 75 something. Franklin Hollywood, California. This is when we lived on Franklin Avenue in Hollywood. And his phone number's down at the bottom. Wow. And I believe he drew this picture too, and it's a really cool picture. That's bitchin'. So this is my little drawer filled with memories. Watches. I got a Spiro Agnew watch here. Spiro Agnew. Remember those little purses that you would buy in Mexico? And they were just cute little coin purses. They got a little mirror inside, little zipper pouches and stuff. And they were just cool little leather bags. Got one of those. Got some belt buckles in here. I've got one belt buckle. Needs a little work. It's a Budman belt buckle. It needs to be relaminated, and then it needs to be enameled. It needs a coat of enamel over this. And what I might do is I might take this image on the thing there and have this image reproduced by my good friends at T's Shirts in Yucca Valley, and redo this belt buckle the right way. Right? Put it back together. Get a nice image on there, and then enamel it and buff it. Buff it, baby. I've got my recent item is my Alcohallelujah can cozy and my Lucas Nelson Promise of the Real keychain. Things that are near and dear to me, so they sit in here. My deck of Dark Hand cards. That's neat. Other little knickknacks. I'm not seeing Halloween stuff. Nixon Now. And another poker chip from the Sahara Dunes Casino in Elsinore. Slide whistle. Let's see, and nothing that says Halloween. I've got some little pamphlets in here in television catalog, so you can pick out the different games to play on your Intellivision set. Yeah. So that's cool. That didn't last long in television. Image. I've got some image catalogs here, so you can see Mattel and Atari video games, and they're cool. You can open it up and you can see screen photos of the different games and the covers, and in-game play stuff. That's pretty cool. And I've got a couple of those that are different. Here's Image video games. This one's 1982. This one's 1982. The Intellivision is 1982. It seems like I was going through a 1982 phase. It's all of the stars were aligned. The calendar 1982 starts and lines up with our calendar. So the days were the same. So that's what I was like, oh wow, that's cool. This one is 1982 Data Age catalog, and I think I got one more in here. Atari catalog, 49 game program cartridges, and this one is 1982 as well. And they've got some great drawings to advertise their stuff, but it looks nothing like the gameplay itself. So yeah, the gameplay itself is like pixels. Oh man, I've seen too many pixels lately. Between Minecraft and going in pixel by pixel, rebuilding vintage graphics for t-shirts. I am pixelated, man. So yeah, there's a bunch of these video game deals. What I'd like to do is I'd like to have an Atari video game console from 1982, games from these books, right? in a case all together as a package deal. Like, okay, here you go. Here's the game. Here's a little old TV, tube TV to watch it on, to play it on, to hook it up to. It all works. The games, bunch of games, a game from at least one game from each catalog, right? Curate that and have that as a giveaway item, right? If the budget allows, I will actually procure different things to be given away. Because ultimately, the budget is whatever I decide the party needs, right? And if the party needs giveaways for people to go home and say, wow, man, I got this and that, and I bought this, and somebody gave me this, and I won this, and you know, and my yearbook's going to be here in 3 months, and my God, it's just, yeah, that is like putting everything over the top. Over the friggin' tap. There's this little thing, little metal that says Elsinore Racetrack on it. It's got a little guy on a motorcycle, right? Ooh, I've got to get my vest out and work on my vest. Let me put that on my list here of things to do. Vest. Because my vest, I have two vests. One vest is just plain, and another one is black, and I've got patches on the back and buttons and pins and stuff, and I need to do a whole bunch of patches on it. I've got a bunch of patches that I need put on this thing. I wonder if they have the ability to do that at the t-shirt place. Do they have the machine to stitch on patches? I'm sure they have an embroiderer there that could just embroider stuff right on it. Which, if I had the time and the money, I would get them to embroider a Killer's Eddie on the back of a vest for what I wanted to wear back when I was young. I had a green army shirt, and I took it and I hand embroidered on Eddie on there with a black outline, and then I started taking this really nice silver, and I went and I started doing all of the wrinkles in the face and the hair and stuff, and it looked really great. I lost that vest along with a bunch of other stuff when I had a falling out with my father. So the items that I left behind, of course, weren't worth anybody's time or trouble, so they didn't get saved. So there you go. Which I am still holding on to stuff for people who are not even around anymore, right? And people who I eventually will see and say, hey, here, I've been holding on to this forever. I don't know how the fuck I got it. But yeah, so I don't know, I don't see any Halloween stuff in here. Well, maybe Flashback Friday tomorrow, we'll try to find some kind of Halloween elements. I can look in, I've got other places to look. I've got a box of decorations. And then, of course, I've got those box of keepsakes where I can try to find that gargoyle. I think if I can set that gargoyle there on the corner of that thing, he'll kind of look ominous and creepy sitting there looking at me. That'll be weird. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Alright, well, I might as well cue up my end credits for this morning's show so I can, what am I doing? So I can eat some breakfast, upload some videos, and go sand some boards. I'm just going to put on some jeans and go outside and put on some gloves and a hat and start sanding, baby. Send in, send in, send in. Woo-hoo. And, yeah. Let me put stuff here. Let me put Halloween. And November. Might as well start thinking about November. Decorations. Christmas is easy because I'm just going to set that tree there, and it's just going to be right here in the screen, just sitting right here. And I think I'm just going to put that up there, just like everybody, right after Thanksgiving. I'm just going to put that tree there, and then it'll be there until after New Year's, right? And then I'll try to pick something appropriate for every month. I might put a different tree there, put a real looking tree only covered in snow for January. You know, for February I'll probably put a beating heart in somebody's mouth. I need to get a picture of that Shamrock, whatever, Shamrock toys from Halloween 3. But each month pretty much figures itself out, you know. April showers, Easter Sunday, that kind of a thing. May, I think I'm going to make a little maypole. I think that'll be cool. Make just a little pole with some little pegs around the bottom, and then take some different type of little fine lace and just make it small, and then take the lace and wrap it around the pole, and then have it come out to the peg all the way around. So it, from the top it kind of looks like a flower. From the side it looks like this little lace ribbon tower tent looking thing, right? And it's just a maypole, where I remember at the Renaissance Fair they would go around the maypole, and from the maypole were ropes and ribbons and stuff hanging, and people would take and they would go around the maypole in different directions and weave in and out of each other and decorate the maypole with this weave of different ribbons and lace and ropes and things. So I think I'm going to make one of those and make a miniature maypole, right? I better write that down. Mini maypole. And then that'll be a neat little project. I mean, a little piece of dowel, a little flat plate like wood, round little pegs to tie the stuff to once it's wrapped, and then just intricately wrap this thing laced in and out of each other all the way down. Put some little tiny fake flowers around it on the bottom, and create a little maypole, and then give it away to somebody, right? Yeah, my daughter. All right, people, I am out of here. I am going to get rolling. Yeah, I got stuff to do, places to go, people see, all of that kind of crap. So I just want to say to everybody out there, be kind, spread peace and love, not bullshit and war, and take care of each other. When you're doing something for yourself out there, do something for somebody else too, because you are not alone. This is not your world, it's our world, all right? But most especially out there, everybody, stay weird, because if you ain't weird, ain't nobody gonna be weird for you. All right, love ya. Peace, adios. I will see you in the mañana. Happy October. Adios.